From Sting's dark obsession disguised as a love song, to Eddie Van Halen shredding on a pop mega hit, to a glam metal banger that brought stadiums to their feet with a single chant. These are the rock songs from 1983 that we'll never forget. And one of them, let's just say, it was so hypnotic, it got banned from prom playlists, but dominated every radio station in America. Let's crank it up and dive into the year where synths met solos, and the world of rock would never be the same.
Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, to the song they're playing.
Number 1. Every breath you take. The Police.
Every step you take, I'll be watching you.
It's the softest stalker anthem ever written, and one of the most hauntingly beautiful songs of the entire decade. Every Breath You Take hit in 1983 like a velvet hammer. Smooth, melodic, but with lyrics that sent chills down your spine.
Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break.
Sting's icy delivery masked the song's possessive core, and Andy Summers' minimalist guitar line became instantly iconic. The track topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 8 weeks and won Grammy Song of the Year, but it also sparked countless debates. Was it romantic or terrifying?
Every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching.
That tension is exactly why it stuck. The Police were already huge, but this track turned them into legends. It's been covered, sampled, shout out to Puff Daddy, and still closes out slow dances even as people whisper, wait, this is about stalking, right? It's a masterclass in songwriting duality, sweet on the surface, twisted underneath. And while Sting whispered obsession, the next track blew the doors off the genre. With moonwalking fury, pop brilliance, and a guitar solo no one saw coming. Number 2. Beat It, Michael Jackson. If Thriller was the monster, Beat It was the muscle.
It doesn't matter who's wrong or right, just beat it, beat it, beat it.
Michael Jackson knew he needed a rock edge to reach everyone, so he called up Eddie freaking Van Halen. What followed was a genre-breaking masterpiece that merged pop precision with a guitar solo that melted faces across MTV. When Beat It dropped in 1983, it didn't just chart, it dominated. Jackson's urgent vocals, that infectious rhythm, and Eddie's blistering solo redefined what pop rock could sound like. It proved MJ wasn't confined to R&B or dance. He could own rock stages too. The video? Legendary. Gang dance battles, leather jackets, West Side Story with way more swagger. Beat It helped Thriller become the best-selling album in history, but more than that, it united fans across genres and generations. And while Michael was bridging worlds, the next band went straight for the arena, with massive hooks, fists in the air, and one of the catchiest choruses of the decade. Number 3. Photograph, Def Leppard. This was the moment Def Leppard went from NWO/BHM underdogs to global rock giants. Photograph blasted onto the scene with polished production, razor-sharp guitar riffs, and Joe Elliott's howling vocals that made every line feel like a stadium chant. The chorus? Absolute gold. The kind you can scream with thousands of strangers or alone in your car at 2 a.m. Mutt Lange's production was slick. Layered harmonies, thunderous drums, and guitar solos that still bite. It wasn't just a hit. It was a blueprint for the 80s rock sound. Glam, but grounded. Polished, but powerful. It set the tone for what was coming later in Pyromania and helped push the band into superstardom. Def Leppard weren't chasing trends, they were making them. And while Photograph made Longing feel epic, the next band took that energy and added a beard, a riff, and enough swagger to melt asphalt. Number 4, Sharp Dressed Man, ZZ Top. You hear that riff and your neck starts moving before your brain even registers what's happening. In 1983, ZZ Top dropped Sharp Dressed Man, and suddenly 3 bearded guys from Texas were MTV darlings. The track had swagger for days, bluesy, funky, and wrapped in just enough synth to make it feel futuristic, without losing that southern grit. Billy Gibbons' guitar tone sliced through like a chainsaw in a velvet glove, while the lyrics celebrated the simple truth. Clothes might not make the man, but they sure make him unforgettable. And that music video? Pure 80s gold. Hot rods, supermodels, spinning guitars. ZZ Top knew how to play the game without ever selling out their sound. Sharp Dressed Man wasn't just a fashion statement, it was a sonic one. And it still hits like a runway walk through a thunderstorm. But if ZZ Top brought the strut, the next icon brought the dance floor and turned rock into a high-gloss, groove-drenched, chart-topping phenomenon. Number 5, Let's Dance, David Bowie.
To the song they're playing on the radio.
In 1983, David Bowie traded Ziggy Stardust's cosmic suits for a sharp blazer and a full-on pop-rock renaissance. Let's Dance wasn't just a hit. It was Bowie's biggest commercial success. With Nile Rodgers producing and Stevie Ray Vaughan shredding on lead guitar, this track fused dance grooves with rock muscle in a way nobody saw coming. The song was polished, funky, and catchy as hell. But listen closely, and it's still very Bowie. Lyrics about identity, survival, and human connection hidden inside a beat that demands you move. Let's Dance topped charts worldwide and turned Bowie into a full-blown 80s icon. Some old fans thought he sold out, but most of us, we hit replay over and over. And that music video in the Australian outback, visual poetry. Bowie was evolving again, and the world was still trying to catch up. And while Bowie glided across dance floors, the next band kicked down the walls of subtlety and invited everyone to scream along to a glam metal monster. Number 6, Come On, Feel the Noise, Quiet Riot. It wasn't polished, it wasn't refined, it wasn't even their song originally, but damn if it didn't own 1983. Quiet Riot's cover of Slade's Come On Feel the Noise dragged glam metal into the mainstream. Loud, flashy, and armed with a shout-along chorus that hit like a brick through a beer sign. Kevin Dubrow's vocals were pure electricity. The guitars were snarling, and the energy was explosive. It was the kind of track that made you want to jump on a table and start throwing chairs for fun. Against all odds, this track broke through. It cracked the top 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, the first heavy metal song to do so, and helped Metal Health become the first metal album to reach number 1. First, Quiet Riot didn't finesse their way in, they kicked the damn door down. And while Come On Feel the Noise got fist in the air, the next entry smirked, strutted, and dropped a rebellious war cry that defined a generation of eyeliner-wearing rebels. Number 7, Rebel Yell, Billy Idol. He wanted more, more, more. And he got it. Rebel Yell was Billy Idol's battle cry, a snarling, seductive slice of 80s rebellion turned up to 11. Released in late '83, it combined punk roots with glossy production, snarling guitars, and one of the most recognizable choruses of the decade. Steve Stevens lit the track on fire with razor-sharp riffs and that instantly recognizable solo. And Billy? He wasn't just singing. He was commanding. With a sneer, a fist, and bleached-out charisma, he turned every stage into a battlefield. Rebel Yell didn't need to top the charts to become iconic. It lived in clubs, in bedrooms, in posters plastered on teen walls. It was a lifestyle anthem for anyone who didn't want to play by the rules or pretend they cared. Idol blended punk attitude with arena ambition, and it worked like magic. And while Billy roared for more, the next band quietly burned down every expectation of what rock could sound like, one weird, funky groove at a time. Number 8. Burning Down the House. Talking Heads. What happens when art school sensibility meets funk rhythms and a dash of paranoia? You get Burning Down the House. By 1983, Talking Heads had already carved out their niche. But this track blew it wide open. It was their biggest US hit, and it came wrapped in David Byrne's eccentric delivery, funky stabs of guitar, and a rhythm section that could hypnotize a metronome. The song doesn't follow a typical structure, because Talking Heads never did things the typical way. It builds tension, then releases it in bursts. It's chaotic but controlled. It's bizarre but magnetic. It's not just a song, it's a vibe, a warning, a party, a fever dream set to drums. Burning Down. The house helped make speaking in tongues a success and cemented the band's legacy as pioneers who could make weird work. And as Talking Heads melted boundaries, the next prog rock giant flipped the script entirely, crafting a single so catchy it made hardcore fans do a double take.
Shake yourself, your every move you make, so the story goes.
Number 9. Owner of a Lonely Heart. Yes. Yes went pop and shocked everyone. Known for sprawling, complex prog masterpieces, Yes stunned fans in '83 with Owner of a Lonely Heart, a tight, punchy track that sounded nothing like their past, and everything like the future. With a sleek riff, bombastic production, and a chorus that hit hard and fast,
You are the move you make.
the song topped the Billboard Hot 100, their only US #1. Trevor Rabin's guitar work, paired with Trevor Horn's glossy production, made prog radio ready. And John Anderson's vocals still soared above it all, keeping that celestial Yes energy alive. Purists were confused, critics were surprised, but fans, they cranked it up. This was Yes doing a hard pivot and still landing the punch. Owner of a Lonely Heart brought new life to the band and introduced them to a generation that didn't grow up on 10-minute epics. And while Yes embraced change, the next artist looked around small-town America and wrote one of the decade's most powerful portraits of faded dreams.
Living in a black neighborhood.
Number 10. Pink Houses. John Mellencamp. Ain't That America? In 1983, John Mellencamp, then going by John Cougar Mellencamp, released Pink Houses, a track that sounded like a backyard barbecue but cut like a political editorial. It was laid-back heartland rock on the surface, but under the twangy guitars and catchy chorus was a gritty message about inequality, disillusionment, and the real American dream.
Oh, but ain't that America?
Pink Houses hit hard because it felt honest. Mellencamp wasn't shouting, he was observing, singing about old black men on porches, young white kids trying to make it, and the strange promises of the American system. The hook? Infectious. The verses? Tough. It was the sound of someone loving their country but not afraid to call out its flaws. It became one of Mellencamp's signature songs and a staple of his career.
In the state, through run child, you know.
The perfect example of how rock could still say something real. And while Mellencamp painted with realism, the next band grabbed synthesizers, soaring vocals, and a whole lot of heartbreak and turned it into an arena-shaking anthem. Number 11. Separate Ways, Worlds Apart. Journey. You feel this one before you even know the words. Released in early 1983, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart was Journey at full emotional throttle. With Steve Perry's powerhouse vocals, pounding synths, and a heartbreak narrative that hits like a freight train. From the first notes, it's drama. Cinematic, bold, and unapologetically over the top. The lyrics tell a story of lovers drifting apart, clinging to the hope that they'll reunite, but deep down, knowing they won't. And that chorus? It doesn't just beg, it soars. The video may have been cheesy, air instruments by the Docks, anyone? But the song itself? Untouchable. It became a radio staple and a live show closer. The kind of track that makes grown adults sing at the top of their lungs with zero shame. It's big, it's bold, it's pure, emotional rock drama. And while Journey's heartbreak exploded into power chords, the next entry floated in on a haunting synth line. And a message that still lingers in the air like a ghost. Number 12. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Eurythmics. Welcome to the weird, wonderful world of Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart. Sweet Dreams Are Made of This hit airwaves in 1983 like a slow-moving storm. It didn't scream, it didn't shred, it crept, it pulsed, it haunted, built on a minimalist synth loop and Lennox's icy, commanding vocals. The song was a departure from traditional rock, but its dark power and bold presence made it unforgettable. The lyrics are cryptic, the vibe is cold but captivating. And that music video, surreal, stylish, and totally unforgettable, with Lennox's orange buzz cut becoming an instant icon. Sweet Dreams became a defining track of the decade, a synth pop milestone, and an anthem for outsiders and dreamers alike. And though it lived in the electronic world, its spirit was pure rock, unapologetic, genre-defying, and unforgettable. And while the Eurythmics turned Dreams into a slow burn, the next track put boots back on the ground, mixing boogie, synths, and a whole lot of legs. Number 13. Legs, ZZ Top. By the time Legs rolled out in 1983, ZZ Top had fully embraced the synth side of rock and somehow made it work without losing their Texas grit. Blending their signature bluesy swagger with electronic drums and glossy production, Legs was pure attitude on the dance floor. Billy Gibbons's guitar tone still sizzled, but it now danced on top of synth loops, creating a sound that felt both classic and futuristic. The lyrics were cheeky and playful. The groove was unstoppable. And the chorus, you already know, She's got legs, and she knows how to use them. It walked a line between sleazy and smooth, and became an MTV sensation thanks to the band's now iconic video featuring hot rods, sunglasses, and the magical appearance of 3 mysterious bearded men. Legs helped ZZ Top reach a whole new audience, proof that evolution doesn't mean compromise when you do it right. And while ZZ Top strutted into the mainstream, the next band stormed the global stage with icy piano chords and lyrics that felt like a political sermon set to a war drum. Number 14. New Year's Day, U2. This was the sound of U2 stepping out of Ireland and into the world. New Year's Day marked a pivotal moment, where Bono's raw emotional fire met the Edge's icy, delay-soaked guitar work in a song that felt urgent, anthemic, and global. Released in January 1983, it was inspired by the Polish Solidarity movement. But its themes of hope and unity felt universal. That stark piano intro, that rolling bass line, that moment when Bono's voice breaks free and lifts the whole thing skyward. It was rock with purpose. The song became U2's first international hit and cemented their reputation as a band that wasn't afraid to speak out or reach for something bigger than the charts. This was the beginning of U2's stadium era, and New Year's Day was its battle cry. And while Bono rallied hearts and minds, the final track on our list introduced a jangly, mysterious sound that would help launch an entire new genre of rock. Number 15. Radio Free Europe, R.E.M. Cryptic Lyrics. Jangly guitars, a sense of urgency you couldn't quite explain. Radio Free Europe was R.E.M's first single, and when it dropped in 1983, it didn't sound like anything else. It was messy, melodic, murky. Michael Stipe mumbled more than he sang, and yet it worked. This was the seed of what would become alternative rock. The track didn't chase trends, it ignored them. Peter Buck's chiming Rickenbacker riffs, Mike Mills' driving bass, Bill Berry's tight drums. It all came together in a way that felt DIY yet timeless. College radio ate it up, critics took notice, and a cult following began to grow. By the end of the decade, R.E.M. would be one of the biggest bands in the world, but it all started here, with a song that felt like a secret transmission from the future. Radio Free Europe didn't just close out the list, it lit the path forward. These were the rock songs that made 1983 unforgettable, from synth-pop anthems and glam metal blowouts to political ballads and stadium-sized heartbreak. Which one still hits hardest for you? Drop a comment and let us know what track defined your 83, or which one still gives you chills. Subscribe to the channel and send this video to someone who lives for 80s rock nostalgia. And if 1983 blew your mind, wait until you hear what came just 1 year later. Click the video on screen for 15 wildest moments that defined rock music, and find out which track ruled the airwaves, the charts, and your memory.